think positively with regards to whatever that God give us. Kita percaya yang the God will give us the best. The God will basically grant us our dream. The God will basically help us and protect us all the way. And your wish, insyaAllah, will come true. But of course, ada agak juga yang mengatakan, be careful. It's like antara maksudnya dia kata, Allah mungkin akan bagi you apa yang you nak di dunia, tapi mungkin you dah dapat di dunia, mungkin you dapat di akhirat kan. So meaning that you have to be clear with regards to you want, and you in your wish tu, you kena kata dunia akhirat. You have to be very clear with regards to your what you want, and you kena masukkan that you are doing this not just for this life but also the afterlife. Because I believe that for me, I believe that I can combine my work as part of ibadat. It's all the niyat that we want to put. When we say that we are working, but when we work, we want, the purpose of our work is we want to help people. We want to strengthen the economy of the country so that a lot of people still have a better livelihood, and their families will be positive, and their children can go to school and be successful. And if you basically put it right from the very beginning, even your work will be an ibadat every single second out of it. Macam juga basically, kalau I selalu nasihat dekat adik-adik I bila diorang nak kahwin, I kata, niatkan perkahwinan tu sebagai ibadat. Niatkan perkahwinan tu sebagai ibadat. Because once you get married, if your niat is good, then each and every second of your perkahwinan is ibadat. So niat is very, very important. So everything is connected tau. Never think that one thing is just silos and it's not linked. Because each and everything that happened is linked. There's a purpose to it all. And I always believe that nothing in this life is an accident. Everything that God has given us or prepared us is never an accident, in the sense that it happens for a reason. And when you basically look back, who you are, what you are today and the future will depends on all this experience, all this decision that you made today. Because I have a friend yang kata, kalaulah I tak join this company, I join that company, maybe my life will be different. I say that no, because it's meant to be. The fact that you choose this company and not the other company at a particular time is destined. You just have to basically make it right. There's no wrong decision. It's just how to make the decision right. A wrong decision can be the right decision if you manage it well. So, sorry terlampau banyak sangat I bercakap. I pass back to Hazim.
All right, thank you, Dr. Kasuma. That's actually a very good sharing of knowledge, because Dr. Kasuma mentioned now the cross-cultural management part, and he also mentioned some of the important points for recruitment process. Everything involves with personality, different culture, different personality. All right, different requirement by the organizations or companies. So you're going to have a different personality. But please, what I can conclude is we have to make sure all the time our personality is very good, depends on a situation, and 100% for sure attitude comes first. All right. So he also mentioned something about decision making. Right. This is something that caught my attention when it comes to decision making process by the organization or companies that maybe we want to get employed in future. So there will be some explanations on power distance mentioned by Dr. Kasuma right now. It's a very good point. It's accurate. I agree 100%. So that's why I would like to ask Mr. Herman on his very own perspective. All right. Usually it would be either vertical, all right, or horizontal when it comes to decision making process, right? So when it comes to this situation where we have to make decision, right? So when is the right time for companies to use vertical or horizontal propagation to ensure its efficiency based on your experience? But because what I can tell you is 90% of government agencies or government organizations, right, non-profit organizations, they apply vertical the decision-making process. So in companies, based on your experience, Mr. Herman, sir.
Why you're asking all the hard questions? You should have asked that to Dr. Kasuma. I don't know how to answer you, lah. Okay. Vertical or horizontal? How do I answer this? Because I always think that how would I say this? Whenever we need to make any decision, I mean, in Maxis, perhaps how we operate is that we were given the freedom to express ourselves and to also to fight for your case. So it has always, as I said just now, as long as we are clear on our intention and reflecting back what Dr. Kasuma mentioned about, you know, at the end of the day, you have to be humble and you have to be sincere about what you're doing. For me, perhaps this is just my way. I will just push through my effort for it to be heard of. You know, I just will, even if I were to, you know, sometimes people say it's easier said than done. Sometimes when you are having a blockade in front of you, it doesn't mean that you should have just stopped. You should have just find another way to just emulate, to emulate whatever you have, and then you try to find ways on how you want to get your message to be delivered, to be heard across. Well, perhaps in Maxis, I do not know what we do in Maxis, horizontal or vertical, I'm not too sure. Maybe Dr. Kasuma can help me, please.
So sometimes I in some extent I actually agree with Mr. Herman, because not all the time we can exercise vertical decision-making process. Not all the time we can exercise or we can apply horizontal decision-making process. Sometimes we need immediate decision, right? Sometimes we need the decision to be delayed. We prioritize our work. That's why when it comes to decision-making process, I don't know, maybe from what points shared by Mr. Herman, I think it's, for me, it opens up my mind so that the point is not all the time you can exercise vertical or horizontal. It actually depends on the situation. So maybe Dr. Kasuma can add some of the points.
I think whether it's vertical or horizontal is all depends. For me, we have to, as I say, agile, bar, which is hands-on, and entrepreneurial. Agile meaning is that, you know, everything depends on the situation. Everything depends on the circumstances. There are things, for example, that you have to do it different compared to normal. And there are things in which you have to basically follow the process. For example, sometimes my boss would say, Kasuma, keep it simple. That's number one. Sometimes because I get overboard with presentation, and terlampau banyak information nak dibagi, kan? But then sometimes simple is more, okay? And sometimes slow is fast, fast is slow. Depends on situation. But sometimes you cannot wait. You just have to do it. I remember when I joined Aeon, my CEO said that we want to do this transformation from offline to online, digital, because something that we do not have today. And we have 2 years to do it. But then COVID came, and then my CEO said that, Kasuma, I'm sorry, wait. We cannot wait for 2 years. We have to do it tomorrow. I said, you want to do transformation from offline to online tomorrow? Yes, because he said that we have to catch the momentum. We have to be ready tomorrow. Tomorrow, he means like 2 months. Okay, so we started from zero. We have to come up with something, and we push it to the market. Push it to the market. The spirit that we take is that we build the plane as we fly it. As long as it fly, it can reach the destination safely. It's good enough. Cosmetic can come later. So it depends on situation lah. Because previously Eon culture is that they want to make sure everything is perfect before they launch.
Yes.
Process, Japanese, they are very process driven, very systematic. But then because of the COVID, we cannot wait. We have to put something to the market as quickly as possible, because otherwise it's like we will left behind by the market. You have to catch the wave. Did it, and Alhamdulillah, we managed to do something quickly, and it's now in the market. So we basically close our gap versus competition, and it's not 2 years, it's just 2 months. Of course, it's work in progress, something that we need to continue to do lah. So that's the thing. Whether it's vertical or horizontal communication, it depends on the situation. That's why your personality is very, very important. The maturity is very, very important. You have to know what to do, when to do, and how you basically know is by you listening more instead of, sometimes we have to listen more before we basically talk. And I think it would be good if all of you basically learn the 7 habits of Stephen Covey, 7 habits of highly effective people.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you that there are many trainings program. For example, there are many books in the market. There's one book that I learned and I internalized until today is the 7 habits of highly effective people by Stephen Covey. So that book I think is a must for everybody. But it's not just reading and understanding. It's about doing and practicing it. A lot of people, they know. I've seen a lot of people. Oh, Kasuma, I know this. I'm a professional. I've been knowing is one thing. Doing is another. And doing it consistently is another level. So that's basically from me.
All right. Yes, very good explanation. So we can see that the recommendation is actually aligned. So last question before we end session 1, and then we proceed to session 2, which is the question and answer session. All right. Last question for this first session for Dr. Kasuma. All right. Regarding the effective communication is a meaningful way to boost personal growth. And what are you suggesting, especially for our audience, delegations from Admal Aviation College, all right, should do, what they should do, all right, to better themselves and be able to fulfill the requirements for future employers? All right, Doctor.
I think what you need to do, everybody needs to do, including myself, is this. Be always present at that particular moment. For example, when we are having this video call, be present. Yes, a lot of people, basically, they are not present. They are there, but they are not there. Diorang ada, but their mind is somewhere else. So it's like they are present, but they are not present. So to be successful, for the betterment of everybody, you have to be present. And how much you have to be present? Minimum 50%. Be 50% present. Present is very, very important. Be present. Ada orang, as I said, they are not present. But be present. Be present is very, very important. But at the same time, you also have to think about the past. You have to think about the past. And how much? 30%. Because why? For you basically to move forward, you have to do reflection. A lot of people, they don't reflect. They just do it, they just move on, Lepas tu bila they are not successful or they fail, they say, hey, how come I'm successful? How come that guy's successful? Oh, not fair. Favoritism. A lot of time, So you have to reflect what you do, how well you do it, how can you do it better. And if you basically look at successful people, see how they are successful. Reflect. So reflection is very, very important. A lot of people, they don't reflect. Especially, I'm sorry to say, but a lot of the youngsters today, they don't think as much. Because why? They are on gadget. And they are on gadget, And when you are on gadget, the problem on gadget is like you don't concentrate pun. Even like you basically move from one apps to another, and then you look at things. It's just at the split second. Not everything's fast and quick. Because of that, all that is available on your palm. The problem with that is that you don't reflect, you don't think as much. People stop thinking, which is very, very important and very, very crucial. If you want to build human capital for the future, you have to basically make sure that our children, our kids, they feel bored. Because when they feel bored, they start to think. Their mind wander when they are bored. But if they are always on gadget 24 hours, so they are not doing as much as thinking as they should. So 20% the past, 50% present, 30% you must think of the future. Think of the future. Very, very important. Because why? You have to be clear with regards to who you are, what you are, future. Very important. Your organisation pun macam tu. Have to think about how you want to contribute to your organisation today and future, and what you have done in the past. And everything needs to connect tau. A lot of people basically, they don't connect. They just basically, if they are present, they just present. Or they past, they just pass. Or future, your future. So a lot of people, sometimes they are trapped with the past. Oh, last time we are successful. 30 over years, we have done this and we are successful. They talk about, oh, last time my grandfather, my dad, they are very successful. They are all they do very, very well. Okay, that's the past. But yourself, how do you basically move forward? You have to think about current and future. So everything connect, the past, the present, and the future. Everything connect. Past 20%, 50% present, 30% future. That's basically for us to do better lah. Inshallah.
Hazim, if I may add on to what Dr. Kasuma said. I think Dr. Kasuma has mentioned very, very good explanation. I think in real life situation or in the working situation, I would like just to share an experience when I was brought up from school in uni. Because they say Herman ni pandai bercakap, so bila pandai bercakap, so they got me to do MCing. So MCing job. So whenever I do MCing job, I think I reflect back to what Dr. Kasuma said about how you have to be present, how you have to know about the past, and also what you think about the future. So in many of my experiences, when people say, oh, you become the master of ceremony or the MC, the master of ceremony, they thought that, wow, you pandai bercakap, you just read the script and you just stand in front of everybody. But they forget the moment when something tends to fail or something suddenly came up that you have to improvise, that you have to be always on your toes to know, okay, currently what situation I'm currently present in, how would my script or how would I talk would influence the future or the end of the event. And I have to reflect back, apa aku pernah buat sebelum ni, and not to repeat the same mistake. I think that is also how I have gotten, that is how I have gotten the confidence in me to become a public speaker, to become, to go in front of people, even up to the extent that, I have even presented to the oldest Prime Minister of Malaysia on the 5G digital education that I do. I mean, of course, it was nerve-wracking. Dr. Kasuma, I think, kalau tak berdebar tu bukan orang lah namanya. I mean, but being conscious and also you are conscious about what you are doing is always good. And I really love that quote from you, Dr. Kasuma. I think I learned something new today, to be 50% present, 20% past, and 30% for the future. Yeah, so I learned something new today. So and to all the adik-adik, always try to remember that. And also, yes, I think because having this gadget, sometimes people think that you when you look at the gadget, you think you know everything, but that teach you how you want to segregate your timing and your focus and your priority, which you should listen to, or should you just focus on what you're doing. And also don't don't abuse the power of the smartphone, because sometimes people use smartphone for what? For Instagram, for Facebook, for you to vent out. But people always forget, kalau you tak tahu a certain word, the meaning of a certain word, why don't you use the Google to find out, a certain way of doing? Or even until up to today, there are some presentation papers or some white paper that I'm working on. I don't have enough information, and I use the Google for that. So there's always the pro and the cons of having the connectivity in your palm, but it's a matter of how you manage yourself. I hope that explains. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Herman, sir. Alhamdulillah. Praise to be Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Let's continue with second part of dialogue. I think some of you have questions in your mind about this exciting topic. So I just cherry pick, some questions from the chat box because we don't have any much time. All right. So first question from Mrs. Afifa. All right. In your opinion, how the smartphones or gadgets can help in developing communication skills? We talk about smartphones and gadgets skills, your personality, but question for Afifa is, in your opinion, how the smartphones or gadgets can help in developing communication skills of today's generation? So I would like to arrow this question to Mr. Herman, please, sir.
That's a very good question. I baru sebut how the smartphones, gadgets can help in developing communication skills of today's generation. Okay, as I said just now, sometimes you tend to look at you read things from Facebook, you read whatever the netizens are writing, but always, they're always like YouTube, or sometimes when you do not know how to pronounce certain words, I use the smartphone, I use the gadget to find out, as simple as kalau saya tanya ramai orang, people will say B-A-B-Y, baby, people say baby. But when I learn, because because I was in debates team, I learned about public speaking. You learn about, it's supposedly to be pronounced as baby, and so sometimes also when you say about, development, people always say development, so the correct way to pronounce it is the development, so development. So these are just some examples for you to don't just use the smartphones. As I said just now, there's always the Lazada, the Foodpanda, the Facebook, and the IG and the TikTok. Don't. So use to find out, and also, there's nothing wrong in speaking. There's always nothing wrong in speaking. I found out, I think reflecting back to the earlier discussion, sometimes kan adik-adik ramai yang just because you do not know how to speak, you don't speak it. Just because you do not know how to write it, you don't write it. Don't do that. Always find your confidence in just doing it. And I think Dr. Kusuma mentioned also just now, and I think Azim also mentioned, always learn from the mistakes. Always learn from the mistake. One thing I learned from my transformational leadership workshop the other day, breakdowns fuels breakthrough. Yeah. So when you have breakdowns, it will fuel, F-U-E-L, fuel. Okay, fuel. Okay. Breakdowns fuel breakthroughs. So if you make the mistakes, yes, by all means have mistakes. That's my personal opinion, because from that mistakes, you will learn on how you can have your breakthroughs. Kalau you tak buat, sampai bila pun you tak akan buat. Yeah. So don't be afraid. You do not know how to pronounce, Google it. You do not know how to write, Google it. I'm talking because I come from a technology company, and I come from Maxis. Of course, I would love to encourage people to use the data that you have, but use it in the proper way. I saw one question. I saw one of the questions here. This is very interesting. I just mentioned it just now. Somebody typed hi as H-Y-E. Yeah. So bear in mind. Yes, it might sound fancy, but that's not the proper way to say hi. So, yes.
All right, thank you, Mr. Emansa. So we are actually running out of time. It's kind of like an intense conversation, right? So I'm taking one last burning question from Kamsia Ramli. So the question is, how the non-verbal communication might affect the communication itself. So the question, non-verbal communication. So maybe Dr. Kansuma can explain it in 2 minutes time, right? And I hope the answer will satisfy Mr. Kamsia. So the question, how the non-verbal communication might affect the communication itself. Please, Dr. Kasuma.
I think the fact is that we communicate both verbal and non-verbal. Okay. Basically zoom in into the interview session. You basically, when an interviewer will basically ask question to an interviewee, the person will basically answer. The interviewer, normally there are two person interviewing one candidate. Basically, one will be asking question, the other one will be quieter, and the person will be observing the candidate. Okay, looking at the person, the personality and how the person communicate. So the thing is that the non-verbal communication, for example, is how you bring yourself to the table. What kind of personality do you bring? And it all depends on the position, and it all depends on the job. Because I can tell you that every job interview different depending on what are the position that you are looking for. Okay. And this connects to one of that I saw for your assignment, how to basically ensure personality dengan communication fit the right job. It always depends on what job are you looking for, what jobs are you applying for, what jobs are you being interviewed for. You have to do that homework and you have to understand. And if you can understand the culture and the requirement of the organization, the company, even better. Because a lot of candidates, basically, they go for an interview without knowing the culture of the company, the job that they are going for, and hence, basically, they are just going there blindly. So an interviewer basically look at the personality. If the jobs require a person who are, for example, like, because currently I am sourcing, I am looking for our Eon TV staff talent. I need a person who can be a presenter, and the second person who are good with regards to technical aspect of that. For example, video editing and content development and publishing. So the presenter will be somebody who is good and who's confident on camera, and who have a good personality. So when I interview for a candidate for that position, I will basically expect the person, because he or she needs to be a presenter, needs to carry the person, his or her person very, very well. The confidence, then the calmness, the maturity, the pleasant, the humbleness, somebody who people basically would trust just by looking first time. Okay, so that's a requirement for that. So the signal that the person, the interviewee basically brings, both verbal, non-verbal, during that interview plays a very important role. But again, it depends on the position, depends on the role. If I'm looking for an accountant, I would basically look for different signal. For an accountant, the job requirement will be different, can. So I would basically look for different personality and characteristic. So again, when you ask that question with regards to how personality dengan communication fits the right job, and what kind of verbal, non-verbal communication that the person needs to bring, it depends on the job. What is the job? What is the job? What is the requirement of the job? So kena buat homework lah. And you have to understand the job.
Yes.
You have to understand the job. What are the expectation of the job?
Yeah.
What are the culture of the organization? And you basically assess yourself. You what SWOT analysis of yourself, your strength, your weakness, your opportunity, your strength. Strength, weakness too very important in the sense that you need to know what is your strength, what is your weakness. And we are not looking for people who are chatty, yang extrovert all the time.
Yeah.
That is not the requirement. It depends on job again. Kalau I'm looking for Eon TV people, or I'm looking for a retail leader, I would basically expect somebody who's very introvert. But depending on jobs, okay, especially skillful job, we have a database engineer, IT specialist, that we require the person to be good in terms of programming, in terms of project management, in terms of activities. The person does not have to be a peacock, as long as they can deliver is good enough. So there's no one right answer for all. It depends on the job, the personality that you need to fit into depends on the job that you want, and it's best and it's good if you align it. You should know your personality again. Everybody's different, and I can tell you that all that personality are beautiful, all important. We all have a place in this world. God has created that in such a way that ada yang boleh berenang, ikan boleh berenang, kan? Ikan tak boleh panjat pokok, monyet boleh panjat pokok. So basically it depends on your role and what you want, and you fit. It's easier, better for you to fit yourself according to your personality, and if you basically get that aligned to your job, better. But if you have a different dream, you want to be different compared to your personality, so you can have a trained personality. Trained personality meaning that you have to push yourself, learn how to be, you have to go outside your comfort zone to position yourself so that you can fit into that personality. For example, I did my dope assessment. It says that I'm a peacock. Peacock ni orang yang banyak cakap lah. And you can see that I banyak cakap, kan?
All right.
But
Yes.
personality-wise, actually I'm a dove, meaning
Dove.
that dove. Dove ni basically dia kalau kat kelas dia duduk belakang. Di KG 3 kat UUM dulu, I duduk kat belakang-belakang, I tak duduk kat depan. And I bukannya jenis yang basically akan cepat ke hadapan. But then somehow or other, God has basically destined to me that whatever that I do, as if like I'm being pushed to the front. Be pushed to the front from the school days. Kan? Tiba-tiba of the many people, cikgu kata, Kasuma, you kena buat kes sekolah untuk pertandingan syarahan. I was like, what? Kena pidato, dia pilih. Bukan kita nak. At that particular time, I feel that it's a burden, kan? Kita tak nak, kita tak suka. We have butterfly in our stomach.
But actually,
but then,
too many students like that. Right? I'm also a melancholy student. But thank you, Dr. Kasuma. There's a very good explanation. I hope the answer will satisfy the Mrs. Kamsia. All right, Alhamdulillah. We are about to finish our first session now. Through this exchange of knowledge, I'm very sure that all of us here have benefited from an enormous, massive, a big pile amount of information on this vital area of study. We want to express our gratitude to both speakers, Mr. Herman Nizar Azmi sir, and also Dr. Kasuma, for their time here in this WebEx online forum on strengthening the communication skills and personality development for our future workforce, to share such valuable insights. Special heartfelt thanks to both of you. It is such a great pleasure and honor today to have both of you as with here to us. Special thanks to our audience and counterpart from the #1 leading aviation institution, Admau Aviation College, and the best management university in Southeast Asia region, University Utara Malaysia, Sintok professors, lecturers, and our audience. Thanks for taking part in this session. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have just completed our first program. Let's have a short break. No short break, right? The second program will be held at 4:35. All right. So we'll see you again later for the second program. Once again, just a very soft and humble reminder to all audience and participants, please look at the chat box. There's a link for you all to register. Please check it out. Until we meet again next time, inshallah. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.
Bye, Dr. Kas. And bye to everyone.
Hi, test.
User, thank you, please, very much.
Hello everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, Kay. Very good.
Okay, thank you everybody for still staying up. So, effective communication skills play a crucial role in Horning's One personality. So, a very good day to all the fellow participants who are still in this session. So, myself is Kausalya, you can call me Kay, and now onwards we'll be taking up the session. So first and foremost, thank you to all the participants who are still staying up energetically with us. It is with pleasure to have you all because we are adding in more spices, more fun, more informatics elements to our event right now. So just to give you a slight highlight from the previous session that we just had, it was indeed filled with lots of information which can certainly practice for better improvement by all of us. So there were generous tips and tricks shared by our professional speakers that definitely can be implemented in our daily lives as well as in the working platform. So well done, Mr. Hazel, for bringing the flow really well. And well, the time can be ticking fast, but we still have more information and knowledge to share to all our online participants today. So quick note, participants are given options to either on or off the camera. Also, please stay relaxed and feel free to type your questions on the chat box. So let us now get into our next zone of the day, the video sneak peek and aviation sharing session. But before that, with lots of excitement, I'm pleased to welcome our next presenter to share his wonderful information about UUMKL. Without waiting any longer, we would like to share this platform. So let's welcome Dr. Ahmad Rizal bin Mazlan. He is the Dean of Research and Industry Network to perform the session with us. So over to you, Doctor.
Okay. Thank you, Kay. Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera and good afternoon to all of you. Okay. Right, I'm going to just go straight to the presentation. Basically, it's about sharing some information about UUMKL, right? Okay, hold on, I have a file to share. Share first. Okay, can you see the slide clearly?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, now just be honest. Before today, how many of you actually know that UUM has a branch in Kuala Lumpur? Honestly, CI.
You.
Yeah, I believe not many of you, right, realize that University Utara Malaysia has a branch in Kuala Lumpur, right? Okay, so basically, we have been here for quite some time. Okay, it's just that not many people are aware. Okay, due to the fact that we started off as a learning center, okay, before progressing into becoming a proper or branch campus. Okay. So as a learning center, we started in 2006. It was not until 2017 that our campus was upgraded to a full-fledged branch campus. And today it has around 1,000 students, primarily postgraduate students from various master's programs. Okay. These are among the accreditations, okay, garnered by UUM. Okay. Among others, the AACSB, AMBA, Beta Gamma Sigma, IPAS, and AUNQA. Okay. Now, why study in UUMKL? Okay, these are among our strengths, okay, in terms of affordable fees, strategic location, access to public transport, a convenient class schedule, okay, accreditations, availability of fast track, depending on the program and also on the mode, highly experienced faculty members, state-of-the-art facilities, and we have 3 intakes in a year. Okay. Now, at the moment, we have more than 20 postgraduate programs, okay, related to business and management, arts and sciences, as well as law and government. Okay, so later on, if let's say when the time comes for you to consider going into masters, studying a master's program, you may want to consider us, okay, and look at what we have to offer, okay, that we can offer you. Under business and management, these are among the programs. Okay, we have a human resource, we have management, occupational safety and health management, or Islamic finance and banking, finance, risk management, and international accounting. And these are for arts and sciences, as you can see, various from IT to education, even counseling and social work as well. And for law and government, we have 3 law-related programs, as well as international business and public management. And more to come, okay? It will be 3 or 4 more new programs for this coming year. Now, starting next year, we will have, for the very first time, our undergraduate programs that are similar to the one that we have in our main campus. Okay, so we will start off with these 5 programs first: business admin, Islamic banking and finance, international business management, accounting, and information technology. Now, the fees, of course, are higher than the subsidized UPU fees, as in the IPTA fees, but it is cheaper than most private colleges. It will be less than 10,000 per year, but you will be getting the degree as if you enter UUM, enter the IPTA. Okay, that will be the catch lah, or the strength. And the business related degrees are accredited by AACSB. Okay, right. Besides academic programs, we also have executive development programs, like e-training programs. These are among the areas. Now, we are also actively doing research, and this is more on research or consultation-based activities. Okay, we have an institute. These are among our research partners, right? Bank Negara, the ministry, banking, banks, DBKL, etc. Okay, so basically, we would like you to know us more. Okay, you can go to our website or our Facebook or Instagram. Website is very simple: uumkl.uum.edu, right? And get to know us better, okay, in that sense. So know that UUM has a branch campus. We have been here for more than 10 years, and we have more than 20 master's program to offer to the public. Thank you very much for the time given to me to present on UUMKL. Thank you. Okay, back to you.
Thank you, Dr. Rizal, for the
I think we are losing you. I can't seem to.
Hi, Mike.
Yeah, now I can.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay, so thank you, Dr. Rizal, for the perfect information session.
Sure.
Definitely, so many students out there will be taking this as an alternative. So for them to choose their education degree MQL. So thank you once again.
Yeah.
So yeah. So the next agenda of the day, which will definitely grab the interest of our fellow participants today. So let's get into it. Can check Captain is online.
Hello. Can you guys hear me or not?
All right, thanks, Captain. So before that, let me just give a spice up introduction. So aviation is a proof that given with the will, we have the capacity to achieve the impossible. This was said by Edward Darwin. And along with that, we have approached another talented, eligible speaker to join us today. Thus, let's continue with another exciting, knowledgeable session. So it is certainly with great pleasure to invite Captain Nur Izwan bin Nazar, Air Asia's A3 Commander, to deliver his thoughtful session in a while. So it's over to you, Captain.
All right. Good evening, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum. First of all, can you guys hear me or not? I'm not sure.
Yes, we can hear
Thumbs
you
up.
clearly, Izwan.
Right. Okay. First of all, thank you very much to those who invited me in, especially to Dr. Zurina, is it? Dr. Zurina, student from Admiral Aviation College and a student from UUM KLN, Sintok, is it? And also special thank to Puan Suraya who invited me. She's my ex-classmate, ex-schoolmate last time. Anyway, my full name is Nurul Izam bin Haji Nazar and I'm from Seremban Negeri Sembilan. 33 years old, married at the moment, one wife with 2 kids. And and after graduated from Seremban Science School, now they call it Sekolah Menengah Sains Tunku Menawe, I straight away joined Halim Azmi Aerospace in Langkawi under Malaysia Airlines cadetship. So I don't have any experience study in university or whatsoever. So right after SPM, straight away joined this flying school and taking a flying license from PPL, CPL, CPLIR, and last but not least will be ATPL. And working experience at the moment, I joined Malaysia Airlines as a cadet, and then after that I graduated back then in 2007, mid of 2007, and then I joined Malaysia Airlines as a cadet pilot and flying the 737-400 series, starting 2007 until 2010, and then after that upgraded from 737-400 to fly the wide-body aircraft, which is Airbus 330, 300 series and 200 series. Flying with Airbus 330 for the next 4-5 years as far as I can remember, before deciding to join Air Asia back in 2017, June 2017. That time already about 10 years working with Malaysia Airlines before I make a move, very hard decisions to join our competitor last time, which is Air Asia. All right. Joining Air Asia 2017, sit on the right as a co-pilot for 2 years before further up the training and to be a commander for 320. So now I become a captain last year. So about 1 years plus being commander already. And right after I got my commander, I complete my commander training, they send me to Kuching. And then now I'm based in Kuching for the past 1 year already. Alright, and okay, anyway, I've been told by Puan Suraya that this webinar is about communication skill and personality development from aviation perspective. Am I right?
Yes,
Am I
yes,
right?
Captain, yes. That's right.
Alright, anyway, can this conversation mix between Malay and English, right?
Yes, definitely, sure.
No issue, right? All right. Okay. Common misunderstanding. Misunderstanding about being a pilot is pilot, they lock themselves inside the cockpit. So we didn't interact with people. So we just talk with the machines. And through experience, it is easier for us to work with the machines. You don't like the machine, you just shut it down. Whereas you don't like a human being, you have to deal with them, is it? And nowadays, the aviation is different. It's not like what you had last time. Last time, as a captain always right. There's no two way about it. I mean, if it's between white and black, if the captain says white is black, you have to admit it is black. You can't say it is white even though you are right. So that is old school types of aviation. The captain is always right. But studies shows that there's a lot of crash. If any of you have watched this air crash investigation before, banyak sangat crash yang berlaku disebabkan oleh miscommunication. Because we into this captain always right thingy. So what happened is the other guy, the co-pilot, they feel takut, they feel fear to tegur the captain because captain always right. We call it captain sit next to God. So takut nak tegur, bila berlaku macam ni, it lead to crash. It leads to benda-benda yang kita tak nak lah. Okay. So after realizing these problems that create so many impact, aviation industry, they came up with this thing called CRM, Crew Resource Management. So what does CRM means? Inside the CRM ada macam-macam topik yang kita belajar. Culture, human behaviors. But the thing that I wanted to highlight here is actually communication. And communication is part of CRM now. And every time we go through training, as a pilot, every 6 months you have to go through training. You kena masuk balik dalam simulator, do all the drills, all the emergency drills inside the simulator. So every 6 months, dulu, we only check on emergency, how you handle the emergency, how you handle the machines during emergency. But now, aside from that, they also assess us based on communication. Dalam keadaan kecemasan, how between pilots, how this communication going on? Macam mana you as a captain, you bring up the moral of your co-pilot. As a co-pilot, macam mana you nak highlight things yang your captain terlepas pandang, how to highlight these things. And then between captain, cockpit crew and the cabin crew, because cabin crew sit at the back, they have some sort of information that we need to handle some sort of emergencies. Okay? So that is, based on that, I think my today what I will cover is actually communication between cockpit crew, which is captain dengan co-pilot, and then communication between cabin crew and also a pilot, cabin crew, tech crew, cabin crew, technical crew dengan ground staff, engineers, and then with the control tower also, there's ada cara macam mana kita nak interact dengan control tower, and also last but not least will be between pilots and the customer lah. Okay. So before I start, any questions first, or am I going too fast, or am I going too slow? Am I boring or what? If I'm okay, then give me a thumbs up. All right. Okay, guys. Let's put it up. This one is cockpit communications. So macam saya cakap tadi, dalam cockpit, as an airline transport, airlines, if you fly Airbus, you fly Boeing, this aircraft is meant to be fly by 2 pilots, captain dengan co-pilot. Okay, those who sit on the left with the 4 bars, they call it captain. On the right is a co-pilot assistant, and this co-pilot is actually future commanders. Okay, so masalah dalam cockpit ni adalah there's a lot of culture. Captain punya background is different, co-pilot punya background is different, age is different, upbringing is different, sometimes nationality also different. So how are we going to handle this? Especially kalau macam captain muda, captain muda yang katalah captain ni umur dia baru 27, 28 tahun. He's very young. 6 years experience, he become a commander already. Whereas the co-pilot, for example, I give a scenario. This is a real scenario. The co-pilot ni umur dia lebih kurang 40 lebih, 40 plus, and he is Air Force pilots, ex-Air Force pilot who fly the Sukhoi, high-tech aircraft, high-speed aircraft, and pangkat dia major. Dulu masa Air Force dia major or general, okay, for example lah kan. And now this major masuk airlines, and then they become a co-pilot, then the captain dia experience less than half of the co-pilot punya experience, because this co-pilot, even though they fly jet, tapi dia punya experience working maybe 15 years, but the captain only 10 years, only 5-6 years. So macam mana kita nak handle these things? first of all, you need to understand. That's why bila ada training apa semua, we always highlight the CRM thingy. You have to understand, even though this guy have very less experience than you, but he is your commander. You need to respect him. Whereas as a commander, you know that this guy is your co-pilot, but he got a very good experience compared to you. Highlight again, as a Malaysians kan, Asians kan, dia duduk sebelah kanan ni dia lebih berusia. So kita kena respect juga. Walaupun dia pangkat lagi rendah, tapi we have to respect him because we Asians. See? So first of all, we need to understand that, and we need to know how to give and take. Bila you faham, bila you understand, then communications dia jadi lagi mudah lah. Okay, because you respect. Kalau captain nak tegur co-pilot, ada cara dia. Sebab dia co-pilot ni kita tahu dia bekas Air Force. Dia lagi tua daripada kita. And then as orang tua pula yang lebih berusia, kalau orang yang lagi muda daripada kita tegur kita dengan cara yang kasar, we also cannot accept. Correct or not? So both of you need to have some sort of understanding. Kalau you salah, I tegur you in a proper way. Kalau I salah, feel free to tegur I also in a proper way, because you have to respect me as commander also. So that's why always before flight, kalau my co-pilot orang yang lagi berusia, lagi ada experience from me, I will highlight this to him. Okay? Even though I'm your captain, and even though I'm younger than you, feel free to tegur. Because sometimes apa yang you tegur will make a difference between safe flight and not a safe flight. Okay, and then after that I akan bagi tahu dengan dia juga, and I will do the same. Anything you do wrong, I akan tegur you, but in the proper way. And whatever you tak puas hati ke apa, let's settle it out here in the cockpit. Kita cakap, kita settle as an adult. Okay, habis kerja, that's it. Whatever happen inside the cockpit, leave it inside the cockpit. Tak perlu nak bawa kat luar, nak cerita dekat orang, nak nak sebar berita-berita buruk, berita-berita tak betul kan. So that's how we start the communication. So bila you dah faham, I dah faham, now whatever happen inside the cockpit, semua orang akan faham. So I know, kalau dia salah, I boleh tegur sebab he allowed me to tegur him. But I have to understand also, cara nak tegur dengan cara yang betul lah. Kan? Culture difference. Kadang-kadang kita terbang dengan non-Malaysians from outside. Orang yang bukan Asia ni, dia different. Dia tak peduli umur you berapa, dia tak peduli you lagi tua ke apa, dia tak peduli. As long as pangkat dia lagi tinggi, so he respect you based on that. And then that also very dangerous. Sebab apa? Kita Asian ni different. Kan, kita tahu dia ni lagi muda, tapi cara dia tegur kita, dia panggil nama je, dia tak ada panggil abang ke pakcik ke apa, tak ada. Dia go straight forward. And then dia orang ni pula, dia tak ada bertapis macam kita orang Asia, kita bertapis. Kita bila tegur tu, kita mukadimah kita tu panjang sikit nak bagi dia tak nak kerja hati, sebab kita always fikir apa pendapat orang kan, perasaan orang lain. But aside from Asian, especially Australians yang I experience, Australian is, diorang memang not to say kasar, but they straightforward. In a way, it's good also. Sebab kadang-kadang bila benda-benda technical ni, kita tak nak you, kalau kata I do something wrong, or something wrong with the machines, or anything that I do that can jeopardize safety of the aircraft, I need you to tell me straight. Jangan corner sebab nak jaga hati I. Because what I need now, not you jaga hati I, but what I need is for you to tell me that I'm doing something wrong so that I can correct it there and then. So by doing that, kita boleh avoid any benda-benda yang tak diingini lah. Okay, so that is cockpit communication. Always start and always orang cakap apa, make both of you understand. So bila you dah heads up, you dah bagi tahu dia what you need, what you want. So now dia punya conversation tu jadi lagi mudah. Okay, because we understand that already. Alright. So that is how we handle the CRM inside the cockpit lah. Dia actually banyak lagi in detail lah kalau ada emergency, macam mana you nak tackle situation, macam mana yang tadi ada pula jenis captain yang keras kepala, kita dah beritahu, dia tak nak dengar sebab apa, dia captain, dia always right kan. So macam mana you yang co-pilot ni, yang budak-budak muda ni, you tahu you betul, macam mana you nak being assertive now. That thing dia more technical lah. So nanti bila dah masuk in training, maybe they will teach you lah. Sekarang kalau nak cerita, tak habis 40 minit, dah 2 jam baru habis. Okay, so kita sentuh yang surface saja. Okay, and then next, okay, before I further, ada questions tak? Any questions? Tak ada?
So far tak ada. You just move to me. We may take the question. The last.
After that lah. Okay, sure. Alright. So next, the importance of communication between pilot, we call it technical crew lah. pilots dengan cabin crew, pilot dengan ground staff. Okay. One thing you need to understand, to fly the aircraft, we not only need the pilots to fly the aircraft, but we need engineers to authorize the aircraft. Dia kena clear, tengok kapal ada tak any technical problems ke technical difficulties ataupun ada any issue with the aircraft. The engineer need to settle that one first before